whisper in his ear and make a demand, if he can't point out the window and say, if I do that, they will storm the Bastille. If there's no one out there, he's in big trouble. And maybe sometimes there's going to be things that he does, maybe often, that you completely disagree with. How are you going to organize now when the community organizer-in-chief becomes the commander-in-chief? How are you going to organize yourselves to make your demands heard, whether we're talking about war or healthcare, all of these issues? You know, maybe the lesson comes from the community organizer himself. When Barack Obama and Michelle Obama entered the White House, it was an amazing moment. It was before inauguration. Remember, they met with the Bushes. I was invited on CNN that day to comment. I was on Rick Sanchez's show in the afternoon, and they were talking about some stuff, some smaller stuff, and I was watching the video, and I was seeing them walk in, and he asked me something about something else. I said, wait a second, we've got to take pause here. Barack Hussein Obama and Michelle LaVaughn Robinson Obama are entering the White House. Michelle Obama, the descendant of her grandfather from South Carolina, moved up to Chicago in the Great Migration. She is the descendant of slaves, which makes their children, Leah and Sasha, the descendants of slaves, walking into the most famous house on earth, the White House, built by slaves. Let's just take pause. Can Barack Obama redeem the White House? That's not just up to him. It's up to everyone. In fact, about a year and a half ago, there was this fundraiser for Obama in Montclair, New Jersey, in the backyard. Maybe 150 people were there. He was racing through. They told him to leave his own handlers. He said, let me take one more question. A guy stood up and said, what about the Middle East? What about Israel, Palestine, West Bank, Gaza? What about that? And Barack Obama told a story that I had confirmed, well, the story that he told, I heard on inauguration night from Harry Belafonte. I went over to the Peace Ball, which was held at, in the Postal Museum next to Union Station in Washington. Harry Belafonte was friends with Eleanor Roosevelt, and she told him that she brought A. Philip Randolph to meet with the president, FDR. A. Philip Randolph is the organizer of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, one of the greatest organizers of the 20th century. He organized the 1963 March on Washington. And he met with FDR to talk about why the condition of black people in this country, why people needed to union organize. FDR listened intently, said, I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but you'll have to make me do it. Make me do it, he said. And Barack Obama told that story in answer to a question about the Middle East, and he repeated the reply of FDR, make me do it. You know, it's not up to him. It's up to all of you. That is the challenge today. And I'll end with this one little story very quickly, and then David will tell a few others. We begin standing up to the madness well back in time. World War II, White Rose Collective, brother and sister named Hans and Sophie Scholl. They weren't Jewish, they were German Christians. But they thought, what can we do in the face of the Nazi atrocity? And together with their professor, they started to make pamphlets and try to distribute them everywhere because they wanted to make sure that the Germans could never say, we didn't know. Hans and Sophie and their professor. And they made a series of 6 pamphlets which they tried to get out everywhere they could, leaving releases in the middle of the night for someone else to pick up and distribute all over Germany. The 4th pamphlet said, we will not be silent across the front. Hans and Sophie Scholl and their professor were captured by the Nazis. They were tried, convicted, and they were beheaded. But that philosophy, that motto, should be the Hippocratic oath of the media today. We will not be silent. Democracy now. From Vermont, and he is here to talk to you a little bit, and then together we're going to sign books. I am amazed that Skylight Books even has them because they are sold out everywhere, which is both very sad because now no one can get them, but it's also exciting that people will be able to repeat these stories, and I think they are inspirational and as important today as when they took place over the last few years. If you get 2 copies of the book, why would you do that? Birthdays, holidays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, give to a library, but make the New York Times write what they don't want to write. We are giving you a DVD of